From Studio 1A in Tampa, Florida, comes a talk show that really feels your pain and tells you like it is. We love America and all that freedom-loving Americans want to protect. Live from coast to coast and on your radio, it's For the People with Keith Allen.
We'll help you survive this thing called life. We're for the people. Whatever your source of stress or strife, for the people is there.
Hello, Mr. and Mrs. America. I am Keith Allen and proudly welcoming you into this Friday's edition of For the People on November the 24th, 2017. As we are trying to get over our overindulgence from a great turkey dinner, and I hope everybody enjoyed their turkey dinner as much as I have, because it was absolutely delicious. I am still licking my chops and thinking, what in the world am I going to get into today after the show? Because I have to eat something, to keep myself alive here. It's, remember, food for thought. So if anybody accuses of you eating too much today, just tell them that, for all of this brilliance that comes from your mind, that you need the nutrition. So it is food for thought. You have to have something, right? Exactly. All right, Michael Flynn, there's a name for you. How about Robert Mueller? Lawyers for Michael Flynn have alerted those for President Donald Trump, saying they will no longer share information on Robert Mueller's FBI special counsel investigation, a potential signal Flynn might be negotiating a plea or now cooperating with the FBI, according to the New York Times. So lawyers for Michael Flynn, President Trump's former national security advisor, are said to have terminated an information sharing. Flynn was President Trump's former national security advisor, and his lawyers have been sharing information with Trump's legal team during Mueller's investigation into Russia's meddling in the 2016 election for sources with a knowledge of the situation, was telling the Times. So the fact that the lawyers for Flynn and President Trump are now no longer sharing information is not a sign of a plea deal forthcoming necessarily, but lawyers often halt information, according to some attorneys I've talked about, sharing agreements with such negotiations get underway, according to the report as well in the Times. Lawyers, of course, when quoted from the Times, both declined comment. Of course. Mueller might be able to use Flynn to get deeper knowledge of the interworkings of the Trump campaign and the White House, according to some reports. Now, Flynn has expressed concern his son, Michael Flynn Jr., has been a subject of scrutiny by Mueller's investigation. So it is ongoing back and forth, but sorry, Washington Times, New York Post, LA Times, Miami Herald, any of the liberal-leaning news subscribers that might be listening, there's no collusion. Nobody's going to be able to pin Donald Trump to anything. Maybe them, but not Trump. It is very interesting to see how this is moving. But, if there's wrongdoing on their side and they showed that there was some kind of collusion on their end, way too many trips over there to the Kremlin and getting way too cozy with them, but not under Trump's direction, something they did on their part, then they need to explain themselves a little bit and once and for all air this out moving forward, because I think that a lot of people are just really frustrated, but we really like to know the truth. And I'm hoping that the truth really comes out about these things so everybody, including our own country, can move on from these and learn from this stuff so things are not repeated anymore. Russia. But that was the main thing, truly, is that it wasn't like that Obama was really majorly concerned about it, because he knew that there was meddling going on. He didn't say anything. He didn't do anything. All people from the left really cared about is Donald Trump. Could care about anybody else other than him. They wanted to pin it on. And that still hasn't worked. And it's not going to work. And that's a good thing. Argentina, this is good news. Possibly there's a sound detected in the search for a missing submarine. We've been reporting on this for the last week or so. 44 crew members aboard. A non-nuclear explosion, according to officials in Argentina. The Navy spokesperson Enrique Baba said that at a news conference that the relatives of the crew have been informed and that the search will continue until there is full certainty about the fate of the ARA. According to this report, there was no explosion. We don't know what caused an explosion of these characteristics at the site on this date, but there's no signs. The missing submarine in South Atlantic near Argentina's coast, that's where the concentration of these search goes. The disclosure was made as more help arrived in a multinational search as concerns grew that the vessel's oxygen supply could soon run out. Britain's Ministry of Defense sent a special helicopter with emergency life support pods to join the hunt. It includes planes and ships from a dozen nations. Hopefully they find these sailors, folks. Time is definitely running out. You know, have so much oxygen for so many days. But the U.S. Navy is joining in on these searches as well. Argentine Navy ships as well as U.S. P-8 aircraft and Brazilian Air Force planes have returned to the area to check out the sound. The U.S. Navy Lieutenant Lily Hintz later said the unusual sound detected underwater could not be attributed to marine life or naturally occurring noise in the ocean. We detected the sound, the U.S. Navy, and that's where they're concentrating on the specifics of where that sound is coming from. We're praying that there is a happy ending to all of this. The crew emphasized that the object could not be identified, and it was not known. It was released to the NRA at San Juan, according to the news agency. So I guess they're just trying to play it safe to not get anybody's hopes up right now, but it does look like it was no marine life. They sent a piece of crap to sail. It's what some people are saying about the submarine with a coat of paint and a flag. Was released in 2014, but without any equipment inside. The Navy is to blame for its 15 years of abandonment. They're saying that the submarine was cut in half and then pieced together. It was a German-built diesel-electric TR-17 class submarine, was commissioned in 1985 and was most recently refit in 2014. And they say it was still a piece of crap into the ocean, so they're not really surprised that this happened. But again, at this hour, experts worrying that oxygen for the crew would only have lasted for 10 days if the sub was intact but submerged. Authorities do not know if the sub rose to the surface to replenish its oxygen supply and charge batteries because they lost complete contact. And more than a dozen airplanes, ships participating in this multinational search, despite the stormy weather that they've been experiencing, has caused waves of more than 20 feet. We had been monitoring what's going on. Search teams combing an area of some 185,000 square miles, which is roughly the size of Spain. Relatives of the crews continue to wait at naval bases, and the U.S. Navy has sent out, again, 2 P-8 naval research ships, a submarine rescue chamber, and sonar equipment, underwater vessels and vehicles. They are also U.S. Navy sailors from the San Diego-based Undersea Rescue Command that are also helping with the search. So we got American prowess out there, too. So let's say a little prayer for the 42 Argentine sailors that are in trouble, seemingly right now. And we're hoping that they can pinpoint where it is and get these sailors some oxygen, get them home to their families here. That's got to be completely nail-biting. Students' chaos in classroom. This caught my eye. It sounds like the kind of thing that goes on in a pro wrestling ring, but they say it's happening in classrooms all over the country. Students reportedly are flipping over tables, desks, and chairs, and One specifically we're talking about today, Pennsylvania District. It's a school in Pennsylvania which has led to calls for help from teachers. Similar behavior in school nationwide, causing educators to look at alternative ways to cut down on misbehavior and unruliness. One says, I have been hit, I have been kicked, I have been restrained from behind where I've been unable to move my arms. Armanda Schaefer, first grade teacher in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, was telling her school board during a meeting this past Monday, according to Fox 43. She added, it really throws off the whole day. I mean, you have an incident happen and you have to do a room clear, get all the students out, and then after that, you have to take the time to do the write-ups, and you have to make sure security comes and then gets the kids. The Harrisburg Education Association said that the unrest is only happening at a few schools in Pennsylvania capital, but it has led to the resignations of at least 45 teachers between July and October. I mean, I guess it's hard to find good teachers. 45? What is going on here? We aren't complaining. We're here begging for help so we can help our students. So said Harrisburg Education Association President Jody Bakersdale. She continued, teachers and students are being hit, kicked, stabbed, slapped, scratched, cussed at. Observing other students flip over tables and desks and chairs, and teachers have had to take the rest of their class into the hallway to protect them during their outbursts. Wow. Talk about ghetto fabulous in Pennsylvania, but it's happening. But they're having issues, folks, that's for sure, in Pennsylvania and around the country. Unruly kids, well, it's not surprising. You get parents that are not parenting. They throw their kids into schools, and the teachers have to kind of, they have to deal with the repercussions of the disrespect, the negative attitudes, or just the attitudes in general. And I'll tell you, man, our teachers really have the roughest these days. They really do, increasingly, and it's very taxing. And most teachers that are teachers, they do it because they love it. They like to teach. They like children. They love to invest their lives in it. But unfortunately, it's become too prevalent throughout this country to where teachers are in the danger zone, so to speak, where their lives are in danger, their kids are in danger, and you get knives and weapons and projectiles thrown at you. And there's only so much that a teacher can do at the end of the well, they know that if they can't get it right there in the classroom, they know that these kids really are going to be very disadvantaged when they get out. Teachers know that, but they get paid nothing. I mean, the salaries of teachers, man, if anything, they deserve a lot more money for what they do, for sure. But it does seem like you're going to have a security guard in just about every classroom. And some of these it's a shame. It really is. It's a shame. I mean, things have massively digressed in my lifetime. But the only way that I can equate it into what psychiatrists have to say and write-ups about it is because a lot of these kids, they come from disadvantaged households. Secondly, they come from homes that have no parents. And if they have a parent, they're not parenting. And that's just the bottom line. If you don't have role models, you don't have mentors, goes back to that, you're going to get a kid that's not going to be very respectful, and they're going to be angry, and they're going to be lashing out. And these are the things, unfortunately, the teachers have to put up with. So that's a shame. Hopefully they can figure out how they can help the children, but it goes beyond the classroom. There's only, again, so much that teachers can do, and you can't so much always fault teachers for this. I mean, I know some teachers say, not in my classroom. They don't disrespect me, but even the best teachers still encounter this. But leadership is a big thing. They're going to probably have to up security in some of this, so it just and get these kids right out of the classroom, and that's going to take more money. A lot of these schools don't have the budget. So I don't know if this is going to be more of a